In the grand kingdom of Veloria, where golden palaces pierced the sky and jeweled carriages rolled over marble streets, lived Prince Kael, a boy of 16 with more riches than most could dream of. He was the only heir to King Aldric's throne, a boy bathed in luxury, draped in silks, and praised from the moment he took his first breath. But behind the grandeur was a growing problem. Kael was arrogant, entitled, and utterly blind to the world outside the palace walls. Yet when servants bowed, he rolled his eyes. When advisors spoke, he interrupted. And when the king urged him to visit the poor quarters of the kingdom, Kael scoffed, "Why would I waste time with people who have nothing to offer me?" King Aldric, wise and deeply troubled by his son's behavior, decided on a bold course: the disappearance. One morning, Kael awoke in an unfamiliar room. No velvet curtains, no golden chandelier, just a straw bed, rough walls, and the scent of damp earth. His royal robes were gone, replaced with common cotton clothes. He rushed to the window and gasped. This wasn't the palace. This was a poor village. Before he could scream for help, a note on the floor caught his eye. In his father's handwriting, it read, "My son, this is not punishment. It is preparation. For 30 days you will live among the people you were born to serve. No guards, no titles. Learn what it means to lead not from above, but beside." "Father," Kael's face turned red with rage. Was this some kind of test? He had no money, no identity, and no way back, unless he earned it. Life among strangers. At first, Kael was furious. He tried ordering people around. "Do you know who I am?" he shouted at an old baker. The man only laughed. "A prince with dirty feet and no breakfast, I suppose." Kael's arrogance quickly clashed with reality. He tried getting food without money and was chased out. He offered nothing during community chores and was shunned. For the first time in his life, he was invisible. Hungry and alone, he found shelter in a broken-down barn on the edge of the village. That's where Mira found him, an orphaned girl of 15 who worked at the bakery. "You look like a lost lamb," she said, smiling gently. "I'm not lost," Kael snapped. "I just don't belong here." Mira raised an eyebrow. "Then help out, and maybe you will." Over the next few days, Mira became his reluctant guide. She showed him how to knead dough, fetch water from the well, and sweep the dusty streets. At first, Kael resisted, muttering complaints, sulking, even faking injuries, but hunger, exhaustion, and the cold nights broke him down. One day, Mira handed him a warm piece of bread. "You earned this," she said. "Feels different, doesn't it?" It did. For the first time, Kael felt the pride of working for something real. He began waking up early. He helped mend roofs, carried sacks for the elderly, and even stood up for a child being bullied. Slowly, the villagers started to nod at him, smile, offer him a place by the fire. But the real turning point came on the 20th day, when tragedy struck. A fire broke out in the village's eastern quarter. Kael saw the smoke rise from the hills. Screams echoed through the valley. Without hesitation, he ran toward it. He found a mother trapped inside a burning house, her child clinging to her side. Kael didn't think. He pushed through the flames, pulled them out, and collapsed coughing, his arms scorched, his clothes singed. When the healer arrived, Mira knelt beside him. Tears streamed down her cheeks. "You could have died," she whispered. "I couldn't stand by," Kael croaked. "Not when I could help." On the 30th morning, just before sunrise, a royal carriage rolled into the village. Trumpets blared. The king himself stepped out. The villagers gasped, but no one was more stunned than Mira. You were really the prince." Kael, now dressed in his tattered commoner's clothes, looked down. "I was born one, but I think I only just became one." King Aldric approached his son with silent pride in his eyes. "Have you learned what I hoped you would?" he asked. Kael looked at the villagers, at Mira, at the baker, at the child he saved. "I've learned that a crown doesn't make you a king," he said. "People do." When Kael returned to the palace, everything had changed. He still wore the crown, but he wore humility like armor. He reopened schools in the poor districts, passed laws to protect farmers, and personally visited every village in Veloria. He listened more than he spoke. He remembered names. He shook hands with the same people he once ignored. Mira, now a palace baker, often teased him. The prince who burned bread now runs a kingdom? And Kael would laugh, remembering the boy he used to be. But his favorite moment came years later when a young boy asked him, "Your Majesty, how did you become such a great king?" Kael knelt, looked the boy in the eye, and said, I spent 30 days as a nobody, and that's when I became somebody.